Last lesson, we talked about the definition of nationalism in nations. In this presentation, we're going to talk about Napoleon and the post-Napoleonic era, Congress of Vienna, revolutions of 1848, the unification of Italy and Germany, nationalism and romanticism. Napoleon's rise. In this image, Napoleon appears in a Roman-style chariot surrounded by symbols of royalty and divine power. He appears to be taking part in a victory parade. Notice how he uses symbolism to try to show his importance, that people can recognize a lot of these symbols, and he wants them to be applied to himself. He's embedding himself in the mythology of the culture. Napoleon had led the French army against Austria and Sardinia successfully, crowned himself emperor, and conquered and controlled most of all Europe. So he saw himself as emperor, and he used the symbolism of emperor to reinforce that. This image depicts the life of Napoleon from his boyhood to the pinnacle, the top of his success as emperor. What do the right hand and lower portions of this image suggest? You can take a look for a moment. Well, I think we can see that Napoleon was eventually defeated. You see him getting kicked by soldiers and spent eternity in hell. He's being poked by pitchforks. Again, the symbolism tells the story here. But historically, yes, he did lose his battles, and he was imprisoned, and he did die. In 1812, he had a failed assault on Russia, big loss. 1813, he lost to the Germans at Leipzig. He had a big loss against the English and the Prussians at Waterloo. And when he did lose, he was captured and exiled to Elba. Napoleon returned from the island of Elba, seized power again, raised an army, went back to war with other European countries. At the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, he was defeated for the last time and forced into exile for the second time. The cartoon here shown in this slide, called Celebrating Napoleon's Birthday on the Island of St. Helena, ridicules Napoleon. He is portrayed as a clown riding a goat while leading rats and cats into battle against one another. Napoleon's legacy. The Roman god Janus could see into both the past and the future. In the cartoon shown on this slide, both Napoleon's past and future rest on a base of skulls. Following Napoleon's final defeat, the political leaders of Europe restored the French monarchy and convened an international Congress in Vienna to try to reestablish a more conservative order in Europe after years of war and upheaval stemming from the French Revolution and Napoleon. One of the principal participants at the Congress of Vienna was Prince Metternich, Austria's foreign minister. During his diplomatic career, Metternich served as ambassador to Prussia, Saxony, and France. While one of Metternich's goals at the Congress of Vienna was to limit the power of the French, he did not seek to crush France. Rather, he sought to balance French power with that of other states. A balance of power in Europe was the goal of the Congress of Vienna. He opposed German unity and sought to make Austria a leading power in the German Confederation. In particular, he feared the spread of nationalism among the different groups within Austria's empire, which might lead to revolution, calls for independence. But most importantly, we need to think about the Congress of Vienna establishing spheres of power, a nice balancing of national power across the continent. Key participants in the Congress of Vienna, which took place from 1814 to 1815, brought together Europe's most powerful statesmen. While they wined, dined, and danced, they also negotiated political treaties that would ensure general stability throughout Europe and protect royal power. Some of these officials were from Austria, Russia, England, Prussia, and France. All the major powers at the time. Prince Clemens von Metternich was no friend of political liberalism or nationalism. He had as one of his primary goals the restoration of monarchies in Europe. He viewed monarchs as paternal, benevolent rulers who could counteract the foolish passions of the masses. By doing so, monarchs could stave off revolutionary excesses like those that occurred in late 18th century France. So he's pro-king, anti-people rule. Provisions of the Congress of Vienna. Austrian Netherlands and the Dutch Republic united as the Kingdom of the Netherlands, United Provinces. 36 German states united as the German Confederation, led by Austria, later increased to 39. Switzerland became independent. The Kingdom of Sardinia in Italy received Genoa. In some cases, the Congress of Vienna resulted in the restoration of some pre-Napoleonic borders, while in other cases, new political territories were created after 1815. You can recognize many contemporary European nations on this map, including Portugal, Spain, and France. However, if you look closely at the area where one would expect to find Italy and Germany, you'll see instead a number of distinct territories. These are the kingdoms and duchies that would eventually be united in the new 19th century nations of Italy and Germany. The German Confederation dominated North and Central Europe. However, as its name Confederation indicates, rather than being equivalent to a united kingdom of nation, it was a union of a large number of territories, many of which had their own distinct language, culture, religion, and history. These are the discussions for today's lesson.